I pull out the binos and I'm looking for this guy. And I remember, I'm like, all right, and I see him. I'm like, okay, I got him. And the guy that puts his, the sniper, or the marksman puts his fucking ACOG on the guy. And I see him, and he's looking over here. And then just when we make eye contact, I'm like, shoot him. All right. Hello, everybody. Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And we're having a goddamn polar vortex out there, and I think it's 11 below zero here in the Detroit metro area right now. It's kind of shitty. And I had to run out to the new Lair and put up some additional heating, so I wouldn't have my pipes freezing, because it's an old fucking house and it needs to be re-insulated, and it's the way shit goes. What are you gonna do? Alrighty, so again, this took place while I was doing I was the NCOIC of Abu Ghraib prison security, and there was all kinds of crazy shit going on. So here's a really good one. All right, during the time I was there, they started to assemble the sniper screen, which now I wasn't involved in the whole decision making of this thing or anything else. I mean, that was made levels above me, and it was basically a 30-foot screen that went on the top of the wall and then went up an additional 30 feet, so individuals couldn't fire from the apartment buildings into the prison. And that took about 3 or 4 days for them to get that fucker put up. It was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of anticlimactic because anyway, it was good. But while they were putting that up, I had spent a lot of time walking around on the ground observing everything. And I had a little talk about on me, because the guards in the tower, soldiers are soldiers, Joe is Joe. They're gonna fucking play their grab ass games, and they think they're being all super secret and shit. And I was listening to them. So I had it on scan mode because they would change channels and stuff. And I heard a bunch of Arabic talking, Allah, evil bird. And I fucking got this chill that ran up my fucking spine. I'm like, holy fuck. They're fucking watching me. So, I noticed that happened again over the next couple days, 3 or 4 times. And, they were watching the fucking prison. And they were obviously, Haji was talking to each other and on their own little talkabouts. And we did take a few rocket attacks, Kadoosh rockets. They're basically, it's a rocket, it's about 7 feet long and about that fucking wide, and about a third of it's packed full of fucking explosives. The rest of it's just propellant. But it's still a big boom. It's basically the equivalent of a large artillery round when it detonates. So the way it was working, we would get hit, and then a couple days later, we'd get hit again, and it would be off. They were adjusting it, and we had a direct observation taking place into the fucking prison, and they were trying to lob rockets in, and it was pretty close to the let's see, if they would have dropped a little bit and then moved over to north about another 200 meters, they would be right around the chow hall. And at any given time, within 30 minutes of chow being served, we'd have lines of guys out there, probably 100 people. So one of those rockets lands anywhere near those guys, you're going to take some serious casualties. So, that was not a laughing matter. So what I did is I went into the TOC, and I was looking at a satellite, photograph that was blown up, of Abu from space. And I took basically a couple of thumbtacks, and I put them down every time I was seen. And I basically narrowed it down to one of the apartment buildings that had been, rocketed, and people had moved out of it and stuff. So, I went and I got, I went, called the tower and made arrangements to come out there, like, I don't know, 4 o'clock-ish. Because the times I was seen, when they called on radio and I heard my Evil Bert thing in Arabic, it was between 2 and 6 in the afternoon. So I figured if I just go down the middle and maybe I'd get lucky, maybe I wouldn't. And I had one of the designated marksmen with me, and we went up there. And I remember I pull out the binos and I'm looking for this guy. And I remember, I'm like, all right, and I see him, I'm like, okay, I got him. And the guy that puts his, the sniper, or the marksman puts his fucking ACOG on the guy. And I see him, and he's looking over here, and then just when we make eye contact, I'm like, shoot him. Boom! He went down like a sack of shit. And then I keyed the radio, and I went, and as soon as I did that, I could hear them fucking, we'll kill you, Evil Bert, we'll kill you, motherfucker. And I mean, they were fucking furious. I basically took a hot fucking stick and poked it in their fucking eye. And just for shits and giggles, we raked that fucking room with a machine gun for, 20 or 30 rounds, And they never fucking said shit again over the fucking portable radio. Go figure. I mean, if you're going to talk in the clear, you could have used the code word. I probably wouldn't have picked up on it because I don't speak Arabic, and that's just the way it goes. Like I said before in the last video, it's no fucking laughing matter, because every fucking day they're fucking doing something. They're setting some shit up. They were hunting us, and we were defending ourselves. Charlie 5-1 went out after him, quite a bit, but that's their business. I wasn't involved in any of that.
Want to retire someplace on the planet where the women look like this? I thought you did, but if you want to know how, first you need to go to MGTOWbooks.com and purchase MGTOW's Guide to Retiring on 200K in Southeast Asia. Don't forget to use the promo code POPP, that's P-O-P-P, for 10% off. A link is in the description.
Okay, in that same building that was, basically abandoned because it had been hit, it took a direct hit from a douche rocket. One of the guys that was giving me the good intel on the fucking mortar attacks was, basically pulled me aside, and he's like, I don't know how much longer I can keep coming in here. I'm getting a lot of pressure. People are threatening me because they think I'm hanging out with the Americans and we're buddy. I'm like, oh, they do they? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, so where do you live? And well, he apparently lived a couple cities away, and it was. He would come and hang out and stay at a friend's house or some shit. I don't really know his living arrangements, but I said, hey, there's a fucking abandoned building right across from the wall. Just go move into one of those rooms. Okay. And then, pick, you have an AK-47, I'll be in the tower, you fire over the wall and, make a big fucking fuss, and we'll fucking fire into the fucking vacant apartment next to it, and it'll look like we hate each other. And he was kind of hesitant at first. So I'm like, well, it's either that or they're going to fucking saw your head off or you got to run for your life. I mean, it's, what are you going to do? So we worked it out, and I remember I was up in the fucking tower. And one of the engineers, there was the engineer unit was running the tower at that time. I told them the deal. They kind of thought it was kind of funny. And the guy comes out, he's sitting he had a little table, and he's sitting there, he's drinking tea. And then, right around the designated time, he starts yelling fucking shit, And there's people out there, like, watching, the kids, and there's a couple adults doing fucking their thing. And they're looking at him, and he's fucking giving us the finger and, doing all the fucking signs for fuck you. Then he pulls out his AK-47 and fucking fires a burst over the wall, and we fire 5 rounds right into the apartment next to him. Then he puts the fucking weapon down, sits down, continues drinking tea. Well, apparently, that was a good enough show because enough people saw him fucking, shooting his weapon in, over the wall of the prison, and us returning fire, that it took the heat off of him. So, I asked him if it worked. He said, nobody fucking said shit to him after that, and he's good to go. So, I kept getting my intel, and it worked out for everyone. Didn't really kill anybody, just put on a show. Now, unfortunately, this same guy, after I was, made the first sergeant, after Lapdog got fucking fired from war and sent home, I became the first sergeant. And a couple weeks after, I became the first sergeant, the 202 MI rolled him up and put him in the Whip Me Spank Me camp. And he was there for I think 4 weeks, and then when they released him, he was executed outside. So I really don't know. Why they fucking did that. Did I trust the guy? No, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust anybody. Fuck that. That's how you get killed. But he was giving me good intel. All right. He was making, a decent amount of money selling shit, and I don't know what the fuck, what the thought process was on fucking, snatching him up. I wasn't involved, and but from my perspective, I thought it was bullshit, and he got killed for nothing. So there you go. That sucked. I don't remember the guy's name, but he, out there in Iraq, you can't get your hands on chocolate, But he would bring chocolate in, and I don't know what they do. They modify the recipe so it doesn't melt when it's super hot. It'll melt when it's crazy stupid hot, but at 80, 80, 90 degrees, it's pretty good. It's not all runny and sticky, and I'd get some stuff from him. It's pretty fucking good. And I believe I got a remote control car from him. Oh yeah, fuck. This is a funny ass story here. So I got the remote control car from the guy, and I like to fuck with people. It's what I do. So I remember I found an old wig that was probably belonged to somebody who got executed. It was, when they bulldozed the cap off the fucking mass grave and pushed the dirt against one of the walls. I'd seen it. So I went and got it and shook it off, cleaned it up a little bit. And I had this little remote control truck, and I put the wig on there, and then, down in the cell blocks, when you go in there, there's a long hallway that goes the whole length, of the cell block. And it's about 200 meters long. And at the end, there was a barred door, and beyond that door was the civilian contractors. So I moved this fucking box off to the side, and it was right next to a low freezer, because we used to keep our water in there. And so in the morning, you would take it out. You would take your 3 bottles, and they would be frozen, and they'd pretty much thaw out within a half an hour. And then if you put 2 of them in a bag, they would still be cold throughout the day. So I hid it there, and I remember I had the button, and we put a camera on them, covering that angle. And people would walk down the thing, and I'd drive the fucking truck out, and then people would fucking freak out. Why? It was great. And we actually we got the sergeant major, Sergeant Major dumbass, Mr. 5'4", pound for pound, 5th strongest guy in America. Bullshit. Mr. Walking, idiot. We got him, and he screamed and jumped up. He screamed and jumped 4 feet in the air. And he was all pissed off, and because we blew his composure. And I made I had 14 or 15 of them back to back, and then we showed him in the chow hall. and he was so fucking mad because everyone was just fucking they were busting a gut, laughing their asses off. And fuck, man, I fucked up. I've done stupid shit, and people laughed at me, and I never really got upset about it. If you can't laugh at yourself, there's something wrong with you, man. That was fucking insane. That was just a few of the fucked up jokes that we would do to, break it all up here. All right, so we got that one done. All right, there's another one. This one was fairly serious. Now, during the time we were in Abu, there was probably half a dozen times we would have significantly large crowds of Iraqis, male Iraqis of military age, would show up and gather in front of this mosque, and a couple times they got up to 1,200, 1,500 fucking people. That's serious numbers. Now, on this particular occasion, they were getting whipped into a soiree, and we had the SOS list, which was the shoot on sight, and apparently, I don't know if they were taking this serious on that or not, but on one of there was the tower, and then there's the top of the mosque, and like right around one of the edges there was apparently it had been hit by artillery or something, because there was like a 2.5, 3 foot wall that went around the top, so you couldn't just fall off. But a good portion of it, about 30 some odd feet, had been like knocked off by a round. I don't know. And there was a guy up there walking around with an RP fucking G. So I remember I get a call on the radio like, hey, we got an RPG here. Now, they didn't explain to me that he was on the mosque. Okay, they said they had a man with an RPG. And I just said, well, there's a goddamn poster on the wall inside your fucking tower. It says shoot on sight. You can't have RPGs that close to fucking. They can fire it at you and kill you. 10 seconds later, I get called. Hey man, enemy. Fucking had to shoot a guy, and I'm like, okay, I'll go out there, and the Iraqis were now like crazy pissed off. They were fucking furious. And, apparently the way it was explained to me, that he was shot and then he fell off of the mosque like a Western movie, like right where that little wall hit was blown away. He fucking up and fell like 2 stories onto like the steps or whatever. He was dead. And they went fucking berserk. They didn't. We thought for sure they were going to attack. So I'm like, oh fuck, you might. I told the sergeant of the guard, like, hey, you might want to, pull some guys back from this tower or do something, because if they attack, then you're going to be fucked. I don't really know what happened. I don't think they abandoned the tower, because I was, it wasn't really my call. I wasn't in charge of the guards, and if that sergeant of the guard wanted to, accept that risk, that's on him. But apparently it went well. But yeah, that was fucking crazy. And the whole time, like all of the times that they would fucking mass and they would do all that crazy shit, and like I would get like this fucking knot in my fucking stomach, and it was like a low grade nausea, and it would last as long as the shit was going on. Because in my mind's eye, I knew exactly how it would go down, but it would be ugly. People were going to die. A lot of them, and some of us. When you have that many people shooting in your direction, somebody's going to hit you. All right, it's just the way it is. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking people. And I had put up enough mitigating factors so I could slow them down and probably stop them from making it to us. But still, if they blew a hole in that wall, like a good 20-foot section, and they all stacked up and got ready to charge through that opening, it would be ugly. I knew it, and I knew it, and it terrified me. I'm not proud. It's fucking war. I had a pregnant wife at home and a little baby. I didn't want to die, and when you're facing possible, eviction from your meat suit, it kind of wears on you. What can I say? That's the way it is. All right, gentlemen, we just went over 19 minutes, so I think I'm going to cut it off here, and I'll talk to you guys later.